Let's get started with opening remarks.
Yeah, morning, guys. Well, where we are today, I don't think we're in a similar situation as we were pre Cincinnati. Nico Fagal did some light training today, the first time in 4 weeks. Robbie came back in today, still feeling not 100% after being sort of like a gastro bug on Friday and Saturday and Sunday. So he's not trained for 4 days today. He just did a light jog and I've got to say, didn't look really great in his face. So we're gonna have to really hope that he comes through. But both are probably doubts for the game on Wednesday. Out of the game on Wednesday, Leandro will be back from suspension, but Blaise will be out from suspension. So it's almost like for like swap in terms of one in, one out. And I think we're looking at the performances of the two young centre-backs on Saturday. Two really young ones. If you'd have asked me at the start of the season, we played a game out here. I think you guys came to an in-house game where Ame and Christian both played centre-backs, and if you'd have asked me after that game, would they be a centre-back partnership later in the season, I would have probably said no, not this season, maybe the season after. They've still got a lot of development to do, and watching them train again this morning, seeing the incredible rise and improvement and development in Christian McCoon has been one of the highlights of the season for me. And then being able to give the opportunity to Ame in 2 games already, and in his development, I think makes it so exciting for next season in terms of the future in that position, in a position where we've not had real consistency in a real centre back partnership. Them two have got durability. They've got incredible enthusiasm to develop and learn. They've got brilliant work ethics. And there was times on Saturday in the first half where it wasn't perfect between them, but it never was going to be perfect. I think a game away and a game at home is totally different, and I think that's what he learnt in the first half. He learnt the difference between having the ball all the time to being away in New York where his main focus was defending. So I think it was a great learning game for both of them, but super proud. And it'd be great to get some more young lads in there from now to the end of the season, but I don't think we'll be able to do that. But ultimately we're looking forward to a really, really massive 3 games against 3 fantastic teams. Be a totally different level than the last 2 games that we've played. Them 2 games probably came at just the right time for us to get some goals, some consistency, some confidence and belief, and some enjoyment. And the place is really bouncing at this moment in time, and looking forward to the game on Wednesday against a team that I think is I think in the next 2 years, in terms of the investments that they've made in young players, is going to be probably one of the best teams over the next 2 or 3 years in the MLS. So we know it's an incredibly important game. We know it's do or die again for us. And looking at the league table, I think you look at the situation and think that those teams on 43 points, 42 points are going to have a hell of a dip in the next 2 or 3 games for us to capitalise, and we're going to have to win all the last 3 games against 3 of the best teams in the country. So that's the task in front of us, but one we've never stopped believing in. And you never know in football, when you get momentum and you go on a run, we've seen it this year, that anything can happen.
We'll start with questions. First Lauren, then Michelle.
Thanks, Rafa. Atlanta has been a tough opponent this season. How do we go into this game and keep creating scoring opportunities against Atlanta?
Well, there's not been many games. There's not been many goals in the games, and there's been few chances in the games. You think at the game here it was 1-1. The game there was 1-0 with a penalty, slightly dubious penalty decision that could have gone either way. and it was a really, really good game there. I thought we played really well, particularly in the first probably 50, 60 minutes there. We had a couple of chances that I thought if we'd have took them, we'd have won the game. So we came out of that game with a lot of confidence and belief. The pitch there, even though it's the Astro, it's really, really fast pitch. It's good for passing. They've got real good technical players, and it's a game where we have to go and win. And it's a game where we're going to have to go and be brave again. We're going to have to try and create chances, and we're going to have to probably take some of the 8 goals that we've scored into this game. I think I said it after the game the other night, we're going to have to score at least 2 or 3 to win this game on Wednesday night, because of the fact that they are such a good attacking threat. And we're going with the attitude we have in the last 2 or 3 games, which is to go for it, and that's what makes this exciting.
Next question, Michelle.
Considering that this is going to be a better team, you just said, different type of game than what we saw the last 2 games. What do you do tactically? Do you stay with the same kind of thing that worked the last 2 games? Do you change at this point, or do you stay with that and say this is working no matter who the opponent is?
Well, I think that's the decision we've got to make over the next 48 hours. And I think it will be driven totally by the players available. I've got to say, Michelle, I think if we have Figal available, then that gives us an extra body that we can put into the back. If he's not available, we have not got a body to put into the back. So it's driven on personnel. We played some of our best football when it was Leandro, Nico and Christian. But unfortunately, Nico's been out for 4 weeks. It's a big ask for him to play on an AstroTurf against their type of team on Wednesday, when you've not trained at all for the last 4 weeks or done anything really that physical. So the system change, I think, worked well against the 2 previous teams. It gave us a little bit more control, got players probably a little bit higher up the pitch, and that's one we have to consider over the next 48 hours. I thought the system we played 3-5-2 there last time we went there, and that works really well. From a defensive point of view, we outnumbered them in midfield. They got frustrated with us. So I think we're a team that can play a number of systems. We just need to make sure that we pick the right one with the right players in the right formation, playing in their best positions.
Next question, Steve, then Franco.
So David was back in the house on Saturday night. What's been his take so far on? Because he's been away, isn't he? Then he's come back.
Yeah.
How does he sort of assess what's happened?
Well, I think there is frustration there from him, like there is from everyone that we're in this position where we are virtually relying on others to get us into the playoffs. I think he expected us to be higher than what we were, but realises the challenges in front of us and the obstacles that we've had this season. But I think the conversations that I've had with him have mirrored the conversations that, as a technical staff, and the way I feel is that it's frustrating, and we feel as if we should have done better. We feel as if we should be higher up the table with the players that we've got. And his demands are that he wants better and we want more, and I feel exactly the same. So we could have done with him coming about 5 games ago to all our away games, with him being a lucky mascot. But ultimately, when he's here, there's that word again, when he's here, he offers great support. The players love having him in and around the training ground, and the one challenge that he said is, let's win the last 3 or 4 games. Let's finish on a high. Let's make sure that we give ourselves the best opportunity to finish in that playoff position, because that's where he wants to be.
Next question, Franco. Then we'll go to Mike DePasquale.
Hey, Phil. You touched on this a little bit earlier here, but just how do you go about balancing out the team in terms of the defensive posture and going into this game? It's in Atlanta. They'll have their home crowd behind them. They're an opponent that has a lot of dynamic attacking players, as you know, and you guys were very competitive last time, aside from that controversial penalty kick that went against you. So how do you balance out the defensive side, also knowing you need the goals, but obviously don't want to leave yourself too exposed at the back?
Yeah, well, we're going to have to take risks. It's not a game where we can say, you know what, we can go with a certain system and nick a draw, and in 10-15 games time we can make this up with a win at home. We have to win every game, so we're going to have to take risks. We're going to have to at sometimes defend 1v1, 2v2, 3v3 at the back. You know that with with Martinez, Moreno, Barco, Araco, you know that they don't really spend that much time in their defensive shape. They defend with 5+1 and then attack with the other 3 or 4 that they have. So we're going to have to at times defend 1v1. That's what we've been working really hard on. Defend 1v1, be brave, and make sure that we can create chances. In the first 45 minutes in Atlanta, we created 3 really good chances. And we also know that in this game of football, Wednesday night will be no different. It won't be like the previous 2 games where we were a little bit wasteful in our chances. We're going to get probably 2 or 3 chances in the game. If we take those chances, we'll win the game. If we don't, we won't. That's what it was like when we went there. We had 2 or 3 chances. We didn't take them. They took their penalty decision. They took their goal. And they beat us at home here. I think there was only 2 chances in the game. Lewis scored 1 and I think Martinez scored the other. Correct me if I'm wrong. So these matches have been really tight. They've been like games of chess, and we've got to make sure that when the big moment comes, we stick it in the back of the net. And I was watching the Orlando game against New England last night, and you think about New England bring their DP players on, bang, 2 goals, get a point from the game. That's what we need. We need our big players to take the chances. We need the big players to stand up. We need the big players to win as a game of football now. That's what I'm demanding from our big players. And if the chance comes, they've got to stick it in the back of the net. If they stick it in the back of the net, then we'll win the game of football, and that I will be convinced about.
Last question, Mike.
Thank you, Phil. Thank you, Rafa. Phil, you said the next 3 games will be on a different level than the previous 2 games that you played that you needed to win. The Higuain brothers together have sort of carried this team in the last 2 games. Do you keep them together as you move forward, knowing that you probably have to win out to get into the playoffs?
Yeah. Federico turned 37 today, so he's played the last 2 games. He's got a game on Wednesday, game on Saturday at 1:30. So it's a big ask for him to play in every single minute. New England game, 7-8 days rest, so that's no problem. So the next 2 games is about putting the freshest team out on the pitch as possible, and to play the right players in the right moment, in the right match at home or away. And that's the conundrum. That's the challenge that I've got as a manager. Federico, I think, has played his best games at home. Because I think the tempo of the game at home, I think us having more of the ball at home has suited him. But we're in a situation where we need to win and we need to take risks, and Federico could be part of that risk. And it's not a risk in terms of playing him, but it's a risk in terms of the amount of minutes and accumulation and time spent on the field for somebody of the age of 37, and the freshness needed in the team. And I've got to say, Mike, I thought Pizarro played his best game of the season the other night as well. So all I can promise is we're going to go there, we're going to try and win the game of football. Whichever system we're going to play, we're going to try and create chances, we're going to be really brave. And an old saying from the Manchester United days, if you're going to die, we're going to die trying. And I think that attitude we've had over the last 2 or 3 weeks, and we're going to give it our absolute all. We're enjoying the challenge. The players look like they're really enjoying this challenge. There's a good spirit amongst the team. And the challenge is now to keep pressure on the teams above us, because I think an Inter Miami team that keeps winning games keeps pressure on the 3 or 4 teams above us, because they know we're a team that's capable of winning 3, 4, 5 games on the bounce. And if you'd have said to me 3-4 weeks ago that if you've got to win every game to get into the playoffs, I would have took that. And we're still in that situation, and hopefully after the game on Wednesday night we can bring the team back to the stadium on Saturday in the same shape as what we'd have. And if we do, then I'm confident that we can win that game as well.
Thank you.
Do you want to say anything about United?
What do you want me to say about that yesterday, Steve?
Your views?
No, you know what, I think I've played in United teams that have lost 5-0 away at Newcastle. I think we were 4-0 down at Southampton, and we changed kits at half time. I played in a Manchester derby. We've lost 4 or 5. These things happen in football. I think the sensationalism of everything now is just incredible, out of control. United lost a game of football 5-0 to Liverpool. Yes, it hurt. Yes, it was probably a real sickening blow for everybody that's ever played, supported or been involved with Manchester United. But it's as if that United's never lost 5-0 in ever in their history, and this has happened, and United have bounced back, and United have won things since losing 5-0. So yes, I watched the game. Yes, we're disappointed like everybody else, but ultimately, I went up to St James's Park, got beat 5-0. Philippe Albert chipped Peter Schmeichel. Felt no different. The only difference was there was not a billion people on Twitter thinking that they knew best about this, that, and the other. And that's I said that the other night. I think the abuse, the everything that goes with being involved in football at this moment in time, it's on social media. Social media is an absolute cesspit for people that are just the lowest of the lowest. And I think it's out of control, and it's now costing. Look, it costs people lives. Sure. Social media costs people's lives, and we've seen that. We've seen that in England with high profile people, and it might. People don't probably realise that the things that they are writing hurts families, hurts people, hurts human beings, people that have problems in their lives, and nothing gets done about it. But it just seems to be accepted that you go out there and abuse whoever you want in the football world, a manager, a player, and you can get away with it. If it happened on the street, you'd be arrested, you'd be sacked from your job or whatever. But in football, it just seems like the done thing to abuse, to troll, to treat people inhumane. And I just think it's eventually it will cause. I think it will cause serious illness to well, it has caused serious illness to players, and people don't respect that. You've seen. I think Tyrone Mings came out earlier in the season after the Euros and said it caused him to suffer from a mental illness. So that's an illness. So people are writing stuff that are actually causing people to be ill. I think there's something fundamentally wrong with that.